Hi, I hope everyone's having a wonderful day so far. Let's get into some energies of love and romance and see what you need to know at this time. So the first one that we have is awake in the dream, embrace new possibilities. So it feels like you have stirred the heart space of somebody new. This could be like a secret admirer or somebody that you're talking with. Maybe this is somebody that's like a friend, a new acquaintance, and it feels like there are deeper feelings that have developed for you. This is somebody that sees you as very unique, very exceptional. You're very different when they have gotten to know you versus like the first impression that they had of you. And it feels like they intended to come towards you almost like in a platonic sort of energy, or maybe this is something where they've noticed you through your work or professionally speaking, or vice versa. You've come to them in like a professional or work capacity. And there was a sense of this person wanting to keep things on like a surface level, but the more that they've spent time in your presence, the more that they have gotten to know you, this has stirred something deep and emotional within. So there may be some kind of conflict inside of them, sort of like, is this appropriate to take the next step in this situation? They don't want to cross any sort of boundaries or have any sort of impropriety take place. If you're coworkers, there may be policies against fraternizing with other employees at your workspace. And so it feels like they're trying to handle the matter delicately. But nevertheless, it's as much as they try to kind of just keep it surface level, they're very fascinated by you. They're very drawn to you. They're definitely wanting to explore something more in this situation. This is somebody who wasn't looking for love, and yet it has come to their doorstep in the form of you. We also have the tree of life, peace. So this person, it feels like they normally may have kind of like an intense or a bold personality, but they get very quiet in your presence. There's a sense of almost like you don't stir butterflies, or like a sense of chaos within them, which may be sort of the gauge by which they have entered into other connections previously. An intensity, kind of like lustful or really almost like chaotic energies, very passionate energies that might have led to a lot of toxic relationships in their past. And they're distinguishing these feelings for you, or almost the energy that you bring into their life and into their reality. And there's a sense of, you calm me inside. You bring a sense of inner peace. Within this place of peace, where they feel very comfortable in your presence, very comfortable being themselves. They may have already revealed certain things to you that are very personal, or kind of have given you some sort of indicator that like, okay, this is somebody who is interested in more than just a casual acquaintanceship. This is somebody who's interested in more than just being coworkers or just being friends. They've revealed certain details to you, or getting ready to reveal certain details to you that they don't readily offer people, kind of in the capacity or in the environment in which you're interacting with this person. And there's a sense of, I feel safe within your presence. I feel safe to be myself. I feel safe to kind of drop the masks or any sort of contrived personality that is necessary, because we're in the workspace, because I'm a naturally kind of guarded person, because my experiences in life and in love have kind of quieted me down inside. And there's a sense of almost, you help to clear away from all of that defensiveness within them. They feel very self-assured and calm within your presence, which again is kind of setting you apart from how they normally feel in the presence of somebody that they're attracted to, or that they're interested in, or that has stirred feelings within. So there's like an inquisitiveness within this. This is somebody who's stepping closer to you to get a better look at the situation, get a better look at you. They may be dropping little hints, little innuendos to kind of see how you react. What's your response? Are you open and receptive? Is this something where, your energy kind of indicates guardedness or shutting down? This person may be really good at like reading energy, a very intuitive person. That could have something to do with the nature of what they do professionally, to read people's, maybe somebody who's, studied psychology, human relationships. It's part of like who they are, or even just a special interest of theirs, to where things that they've presented to you, there's almost like, okay, So I'm laying my cards out on the table in this capacity. How do you feel about that? What is your reaction? Are you still open and receptive? Are you still eager and enthusiastic when we spend time with one another? Do you still represent that safe, calm space for me if I'm opening up and becoming more vulnerable, or even internally speaking, kind of adjusting to this idea of something more developing in the situation? They're very mindful of like, how does that make me feel inside? There's a sense of like, they don't want you to get the wrong idea about their intentions. It feels like they come forth very well intentioned, because this isn't a circumstance where they were looking for love and connection. This has just sort of happened where feelings have stirred. And so there's a sense of almost walking very delicately forward in this situation, not wanting to create chaos and confusion, not wanting to create awkwardness within the shared space in which you know one another. If it's a friendship, it's kind of like, I don't want to lose the friendship by confessing deep feelings. If this is a professional connection, there's a sense of, we still have to work together, or we've got a job to do together, and I don't want kind of mixed messages or feelings that aren't necessarily reciprocated, or any energy of coming on too strong. I don't want that to kind of damage our relationship with one another. So it feels like there's a lot of thought and strategy going into kind of their next step towards you, or the next things as they will say or demonstrate. We also have the mystique of Magdalene, deep reflection. Yeah, so this person is definitely thinking about you a lot. They're thinking about you after work. They're thinking about you in their spare time. Even when they're in the midst of like monotonous tasks or busy work, their mind almost drifts to you. They may be getting a lot of signs and synchronicities relating to you that are almost like a push forward and encouragement from their spirit team, from their ancestors, from their spirit guides, from their angels to step in a little closer, open their mind and heart to the possibilities of what can happen within this situation. But there's a sense of wanting to maintain that mystique, not wanting to put themselves totally out there and risk being rejected, or again, creating some kind of awkwardness and confusion within like your shared situation with one another. We also have Magdal Eater, listen to elder wisdom. So this person could be asking friends or trusted confidants about sort of what to do in the situation. They've definitely let at least one person know about you, about the circumstances between the two of you, getting advice on how to proceed in this circumstance. It feels like they're getting a lot of encouragement from people that they've shared information with, or even people that may know you as well, who have kind of, provided that sort of silent observation. They've given this person the confirmation, or like the green light. Go for it, just put yourself out there. It seems like a match. It seems like a good fit. It seems like the two of you have the potential to explore some deeper chemistry with one another. And so again, kind of like a strategy is being mapped out here. This is somebody who is trying not to be impulsive, trying to honor what has kind of organically developed between the two of you, and the sense again of like you bring peace within. It feels like it's a breath of fresh air, because they're used to, maybe very passionate relationships, but they all kind of dissolved into the energy of chaos or toxicity or wounding. And so there's a sense of almost like, I feel different with you in the circumstances it is right now than I have at the beginning of like other romantic relationships in my life. I want to tap into that vibe and see if we can build a momentum based on that, which will hopefully yield some different results than it burns hot and heavy at first and then things fall apart, or something that is very, like sexually based or passionately based, and then two people not taking the time to like get to know one another or spend time in one another's company, kind of just rushing forth, into some of those deeper layers of like physical intimacy without kind of building emotional intimacy. There's a sense of wanting to do things differently in this situation. So kind of like holding themselves back in that capacity, that it feels like if it were different circumstances or like a different point in their life, they would have already revealed their feelings to you. They would have already like put themselves out there, asked you out on a date, made those intentions known. But there's a sense of like, here's a window of opportunity to not just explore love that has showed up in an area of my life or at a time when I wasn't really looking for love, but here's also the opportunity to kind of build upon the wisdom of the past, things that have fallen apart in my past. Here's an opportunity to do things different and hopefully experience some different results, some more pleasing results, more satisfying results than love or romance has been like recently or in general for them. And it feels like they're getting a lot of good advice, a lot of sage advice and wisdom as far as like what to do. Almost somebody that might be seeking the advice of like elders in a sense, and trying to take more of an old-fashioned approach. There's a sense of the rush and kind of just leaping forth into intensity of like modern love that hasn't really suited this person, or it hasn't really worked out well. In the circumstance with you, it might even be the fact that if this is like a work connection, or something that's a friendship, there's an essence here of turning back the hands of time to kind of take that slow approach to the situation. Restraining themselves from kind of just leaping right in. They don't want to get involved in a situationship. They don't just want this to be a hookup. This is somebody that sees within you the potential to build a deeper and more meaningful partnership. And so it's almost trying to come up with a way to kind of like court you or woo you, or kind of tend to those seeds of romantic potential between the two of you in a way that may be more traditional, it may be more classic or old-fashioned. And there's a sense of, maybe this will help me stand out from the crowd, from like other suitors that you have that may be very bold with kind of like, I'm attracted to you, I like you, I feel we have a lot of chemistry, do you want to go somewhere, you want to go somewhere more private, would you like to meet up? They're not wanting to take that approach. They don't want to come across as like a Knight of Wands, like a Casanova energy. There's a sense of, there's enough palpable chemistry between the two of you. They could take that route and avenue, and maybe that would, lead to success, or at least temporary satisfaction. But there's a sense of, I see something deeper with you. I see something more that we can create here. I don't just want this to be a moment in time, but I feel we have the ability to generate something lasting with one another. And so it's kind of like back to basics, back to their roots, or getting the advice of people from different generations and eras as far as like how to romance in kind of that old-fashioned way. We also have the Shikina, divine destiny. Yeah, so this person feels that this is like serendipity that you cross their path. This is fated. This is destiny. This is love that has come along, or romantic feelings that have come along at a time in their life when they weren't looking for it. And so it is not lost on them the fact that this is a window of opportunity that is rare and precious. That the dialogue, the dynamic, the energetic, the actual connection you have with one another at this point, it's rare, it's unique, it works. And so they're wanting to build very slowly in that direction. Something that can kind of lead to a legacy of love between the two of you. It feels that they're not placing limits in their mind at this point in time as far as like how far this connection can go between you. So this is definitely somebody as well that may be trying to like overcome commitment issues, or a fear of being hurt, a fear of being vulnerable. And so it's almost to their advantage, they're seeing, or maybe they're being advised about that, to take that slower approach, to take that traditional approach, to take that kind of like old-fashioned romantic approach to the situation, because it allows time for things to blossom organically between the two of you. And it also allows this person time to be very mindful of their tendency to perhaps run from love, or encounter someone that they have great chemistry with, and then they move too quickly, it overwhelms them and they run away, or they shut down when it comes time to be emotionally vulnerable with someone. That might be kind of a repeated pattern in their past that they've noted, or that other people that they kind of they trust and they value the opinion of might have pointed out to them. So it feels like this is almost something where, again, there's at least one person in their corner that knows about this situation, that they may have told about you, about the circumstances, that knows you personally, or has also been observing you and kind of what's playing out between you and this person. And they're giving really good advice as far as how this person can continue to honor the feelings that are developing within them, honor the nature of the dynamic between the two of you, and to keep moving towards with kind of a building confidence, that essence of like, I see some beautiful potential here. I feel that we would be really good with one another. I think that we could build something memorable and lasting. So they're getting a lot of encouragement and support behind the scenes to continue to express themselves, to continue to sort of be more open, to continue to kind of move closer to that place of asking you out, confessing feelings, taking the dynamic beyond this kind of energy of subtle expansion into a more obvious sort of announcement of their intentions, to see if you'd be on board with that, if you'd be interested in getting to know them more, or expanding the nature of your relationship towards more of that deeper romantic potential. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link to that in the description box of the video. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.